On August 16, 1977, my mom was told to pray for Elvis, and 3 days later he died. A presence came to the family room in my house and says, "Pray for Elvis. He is deeply troubled. He has to become a spiritual leader, a new kind of leader." I rebelled, as I had done in the hospital during a near-death experience. I don't know him, and I don't love him. I only pray for people I love, so I can't pray for him. Then the presence did the same thing it did in the hospital. In an instant, it brought me back to a time where I had loved him far more than I had ever loved anyone or been capable of loving anyone else. I loved him at that moment with such a true, glorious, pure, and perfect divine love that I said, "That must be the way God loves him." I felt so guilty that I was suddenly capable of loving this stranger who I had never given any thought whatsoever. I had never even purchased one of his records. I had never gone to one of his movies. He meant absolutely nothing to me at that time. Why had this presence chosen me to pray for him? Why did this presence make me love him? He knew I had been married for 12 years. Why did he do such a thing to me? It was an immense torture for me. I didn't want to love this man. It scared me as much as it had at age 29 when I felt the energy rise up my spine. Then that presence asked, "Can you pray for him now?" I replied, "Of course, I know and I love him." So I prayed for him. I was so tortured that a perfect and loving God could make me love a total stranger more than my husband and 3 children. This did not appear to be a just or wise God to me. 3 days later, on August 16, 1977, I turned on the 6 o'clock news and heard that Elvis had died. I grew stone cold by hearing that news. I could not believe that God had lied to me. God had told me that he was deeply troubled because he had to become a new kind of spiritual leader. God had made me pray for him. God had made me love him more than I had ever been capable of loving anyone else. Now God had allowed him to die, and he could never become a spiritual leader. Why, God? Why did you do this to me? I was so scared that I could not live to raise my children. I prayed for the soul of Elvis for several years out of fear and love. Nobody will ever understand the agony that I endured.